everyone, how are you? Hopefully you are in good health and always be excited about doing your meaningful activities. We are group 2, the members are 7. I am as a first presenter. My name is Kadek Intan Savitri and my student's registration number is 1912021212. First of all, in this occasion, we would like to talk about the analysis about poems by using figurative languages, especially the metaphor, simile, personification, and apostrophe. In this case, I am as a first presenter, I'm going to talk about the definition of poetry as well as the definition of figurative languages, especially the metaphor and simile. Before I'm going to continue, I would like to ask to you, have you heard the poetry or have you wrote it before? Have you or not? If not, I would like to explain you more deeply. So let's start. The first one is, what is poetry or poem? So poetry is a literary work that made by human by expressing their imaginations, opinions, or expressions such as sad, happy, even fear. When the human write a poem in a sheet of paper, they usually use the figurative languages. As stated by Chandra in 2015, poetry is a literary work that made by people by expressing their imagination, which has intrinsic and extrinsic elements. As we know, we are human. Sometimes we feel sad, happy, or joy. It can be written in a sheet of paper by using figurative languages. Figurative languages is a part of intrinsic elements of literary works. So I think that's all about the definition of poem in general. So let's continue to the next topic. What is figurative languages, especially metaphor and simile? The second one is metaphor. So what is metaphor? Life is a battlefield. Have you heard that? Or have you ever seen that sentence? So that is an example of metaphor. So what is metaphor? Metaphor is a figurative language that usually used in the form of poetry or poem, even speech, but doesn't use the words as or like, but metaphor usually use the word usually use to be. The examples of to be are is, I'm, are, was, were, etc. As stated by Padilla in 2016, the metaphor aims to represent the incorrect meanings or to show or to suggest that words are similar. So, as we have seen together, in the slides that are provided, there is an example of metaphor. Love is a battlefield. Do you know the meaning? So, the word love is likened to be a battlefield, which means that love should be fought for, as well as the war must be fought for the sake of truth. In the sentence, we can see there is a to be is, which indicates that sentence is classified as a metaphor. I think that's all about my explanation about metaphor. Hopefully you will be understand what I have said before. The second one is simile. What is simile? Simile is a figurative language that usually used in the form of poem, novel, even speech by using the words as, like, such, even, same, which have the same meanings which other words in the form of poem. The aims of simile is to describe something. As you have seen together, in the slide that are provided, there is an example of simile. The example is, that baby is as cute as a button. The word baby is likened to be buttons that marked by the word as. So, I think that's all about my explanation about the definition of poetry, the definition about metaphor, and also the example, as well as the definition of simile. Hopefully, this material can make you more understand about the definition about poem in general, as well as the definition of figurative languages, especially metaphor and simile. The next material will be continued with my friends.
Hi everyone, my name is Kadek Agus Mahardika Yasa. As a second speaker or presenter in this group. As a second speaker, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit groggy. As a second speaker, I will continue the presentation about figurative language, such as personification, and also I will present about apostrophe. Now, let's start from the first thing that I want to present. The name is personification. When we make a poetry or poems, we will not too far away from personification. Why? Because we often use when we making a poem or poetry. Personification is a figurative language. When you giving human characteristic, feelings and action to non-living object. For example, the lightning is dancing across the sky. The second example is the sun is smiling. The third example is the wine is very brutal today. Well, I hope you understand what I presented. I think it's enough for personification. Now, let's move to apostrophe. Apostrophe looks like a comma, but we place the apostrophe above a line of writing like this. One of the use of the apostrophe is showing a position. For example, my boss is shoes. Yeah. Agus' poetry is easy to understand, like this. Well, I think that is for apostrophe, and that is my presentation about personification and also apostrophe. I hope you understand what I presented today. We will move to next presenter who analyze the poetry. Okay, see you later.
Hello my friends, my name is Made Sintya Dewi, and today I'm going to explain about what kind of poem that from Emily Dickinson, which is the title is It Sips from Leaden Sips. So the first stanza says, it sips from leaden sips. It powders all the wood. it fills with alabaster wall, the wrinkles of the road. So, between the fourth line in the first stanza is talked about personification, which is the wrinkles is one kind of human feature and that gives to the road in this poem. So I would like to explain about this stanza. Sieves explain that something that commonly sifted, which is flower, and linen sieve. Linen sieve, you can imagine, but what is the color? Is gray or dark? And powders all of the wood. That means it can be powdered all the wood. That will be above of the wood, and it fills with alabaster wall. Alabaster, one kind of mineral stone that has white colors, and the wall has soft texture. So you can imagine that is came from the heavy gray skies, and the texture is soft with white colors and powders all the wood. I think it's about the snow. So we can move to another slide. The second stanza said, it makes an even face of mountain and of plain, unbroken forehead from the east unto the east again. So the personification in the first until the second line is about the face, because the face here is explained about mountain and also plain, which is that is inanimate object. And the third until the fourth line is also personification, because it's explained about forehead, which is that is human feature, and this explain about land maybe. From this stanza is explained about it. It means the snow makes an even face of mountain, because they cover up all the mountain and also the plain from the east until the west until the east again. So we can move to another slide. Is about the third stanza. This stanza said, it reaches to the fence, it wraps it rail by rail, till it is lost in the fences, it deals special feel. So it means, I would like to explain first about the metaphor in the third line, which is fleeces. The fleeces, you can imagine about fleeces. What is the color? It's absolutely white. And how about the texture? It's absolutely soft. So you can compare it about the fleeces here means to snow also. So it reached to the fence, rapid rail by rail. Rapid rail by rail mean that snow cover up all things like layer by layer till it's lost in the fleeces. It means until that is gone, but it's not actually gone, but just cover up by the snow until it like nothing there. So it deals special feel. Crucial, it means like something came from the event, which is like sounds beautiful, great, and something like that. So also feel it means something that women commonly use for cover up their head or cover up their face. And you can imagine about the snow cover up anything, even they cover up like plants or mountain, it still look like beautiful because it talked about glacial. So we can move to another slide. This is the fourth stanza that said about on stump, on stack and stem. The summer's empty room, a cross of joint where harvest were, recordless but for them. So, on the second line, this is contain apostrophe and also metaphor. The apostrophe here is summer's empty room, which is the summer room that is empty, and the metaphor, the empty rooms that say here is mean filled, which is in the winter this room is absolutely clean or empty, but no regardless but for them, it means there is still a crop of it's talk about joints where harvests were. It's talked about the stubble that left over after the crops harvest. Then that will be a provement that in the summer something grow over there, which is crops that have been harvested before the winter. So we move to the last slide, which is the fifth stanza. Is said it traveled the wrist of post as ankle of a queen. Then still it arisen like ghost, denying they have been. So the first one is about personification. Wrist. Wrist is one kind of human feature, and the post is one object that inanimate. Then it's followed by as ankle as a queen. That was the first line, and the second line is a simile. The simile is wrist of post and ankle of a queen. So there is as. So we move to the third slide. Is about simile. It's artisan and the ghost. It has like same meaning. Or then move to the last line. It's about denying they have been. It's content personification because denying is one of human feature, but this use objects no, which is that object inanimate object. So from the last stanza that I can take about what is the meaning about this stanza. It's maybe about sometimes snow came and destroyed anything they cover up over and over, but for Emily that is also looks still beautiful because when the snow came and in the winter, it's just a span no longer time to see it, and the snow disappear when the season changes. It also tell us about even the snow disappear after the winter, it doesn't mean they have no ever falling down to the earth. So I think that's all for today, and thank you.
Hi guys, so before I analyze this poem, let me introduce myself. My name is Wayan Vicki Nugraha. You can call me Vicky. So now I will analyze the poem by Robert French. That is the Hound. Before that, I will read this poem. The Hound by Robert French. Life the hound, equivocal come at a bond, either to read me or to befriend me. I cannot tell the hound's intent, till he has sprung at my burnt hand with teeth or tongue. Meanwhile I stand at and wait the event. So that's the poem, and now I will analyze. I analyze this poem in metaphor. So this poem have 5 metaphor and that you can find in stanza 1. So the first you can find in first line, second line, third line, and number 5 line, and the last line in stanza 1. So in first line that is life the hound. That's have the have meaning is life likes a dog. And the second line is equivocal, and the meaning is it is not clear and seeming to have two opposition meaning. And in the third line, that's come at a bond. That's the meaning is student action. And the 5 line is either to read me, and have the meaning is good for training up to opposition meaning. And the last metaphor in stanza 1 in line 5. And the last metaphor that you can find in last line in stanza 1. That is the or to befriend me. The meaning is compare between either to read me and or to befriend me. Comparing in the feature between will be enemies or friend. And then in the next is analysis. I will analysis in simile. This poem does not use a simile, and because in this poem only use metaphor and apostrophe. Okay, so that's the analysis, the hound by me, and the next will continue by my friend. Thank you for the time and see you next time.
Hello everyone, here I will continue to analyze the poem and the title The Hound by Robert Francis. Okay, before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Ari Nugraha and my number registration is 191-202-1167. Okay, before me, Artayani has analyzed the metaphor and similes in this poem. So, I will continue to analyze of personification and atrope in this poem. In this poem, there is only one personification, and it is located at stanza 2 in the line 4, and the sound is at my bare hand. Okay, in my opinion, at my bare hands is a quite figurant word describing something that is not alive or in our life, that is conveyed through the other imagination to live, or we can call it personification. But what's meant by at my bare hands is a hands without any protection. Okay, I think there is only one personification in this poem. Okay, for the next, the atrope. As we know, the punctuation quotation 1 is indicating ownership, and the punctuation marks is usually confused with the atrope. Okay, in this poem, there is an atrope on stanza 2 in the line 2, and the sound is the hound's intent, which indicates that the intent belongs to the dog. Okay, I think there is only one atrope in this poem. So that's all I can tell you to analyze of this poem, especially for personification and atrope. Okay, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ayu Putu Utami Dewi. I'm the last speaker of this presentation and I'd like to continue to the conclusion. There are 2 points that I would like to explain or present. The first one is about the figurative languages that are contained in the 2 poems that have been analyzed and also explained by my friends before, and also about the moral values that we can take from those 2 poems. Let's start with the first poem entitled The Hound by Robert Francis. This poem contains figurative languages such as metaphor, personification, and also apostrophe. And in this poem, the author wants to show that the hound, which is predicted as a dog, and life are both the equal or the same things. So why dog and life are stated as the same thing? It is because when we meet a dog, there are 2 possibilities that we probably get from this dog. Either it will probably bite and hurt us, or it probably will lick our hands as a form that it likes us, or we can call it as a form as bonding. And if, for instance, this dog looks unapproachable and it suddenly tries to bite us, we must be ready in order to protect and defend ourselves. So these things happen in life as well. So the moral value that we can get from this poem is we must always be ready about anything, good or bad, because everything can happen in life. So let's move to the second poem entitled It Sieves from Leaden Sieves by Emily Dickinson. There are figurative languages that are contained in this poem, such as metaphor, simile, and also personification. We couldn't find any apostrophe used in this poem. So in this poem, the author wants to show about how much he loves winter, or it is about how happy the author is in the winter season. So I guess there is no moral value that we can take from this poem. The author just want to show how beautiful it is now in the winter season in his perspectives. But probably this poem can teach us about how to love and enjoy the snow in the winter season as God's creation. So that's all from us. I hope you guys are enjoying to watch this video. We apologize if there are several mistakes that we have made. We are still in the progress of learning. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy and see you.